And today the reason for this video is because I got a general. All right, you might see that one of the big three is missing, and that's Manstein. Now, the reason why I chose what I wanted to choose, or the reason why I chose what I chose, was because, let's just go through these perks. All right, Eisenhower. He is a great guy if you want to be like on cities, moving around with one of these units here, and just using your Air Force power, all right, or being on a battleship. He's great on the aircraft carrier because aircraft carrier, I noticed, combines these two skills. And so he does like 80 damage on an aircraft carrier. Like, he's really good with that. They all have the same health, so let's not look at that. But this guy's more economical here. Eisenhower, gold output of the city plus 20%. So Eisenhower's the kind of guy, he's not going to be on, he's only going to be on the front lines for the Air Force. But like, he's going to be sitting on a city. He's not going to be in the thick of the action, really. This supply is kind of sucks. It's kind of, I mean, if Eisenhower is in a city, like he's always going to be, plus 8, plus the city healing thing, you're going to get like so much per turn. And because Eisenhower is always going to be in a city, he's not going to lose much health. I mean, it's great if like he's in the thick of the action and he's on a city that you just captured, like as Germany, and you just you invade Warsaw. It's nice to get right in there and you just strafe the enemy, and you don't have to worry about your health diminishing. So that's great. Right here, if you're gonna be marching across the ocean, sure, but most of the time you don't do that anyway. This is great for attacking cities. So this guy, if you put him on a tank, he's great at taking cities and stuff, and then you could probably strafe a bunch of people with the Air Force. And then, of course, the gold one. So, or not the gold, the steel. So, honestly, I'm going to go over why I chose it later. I'm just going to go through what these people are. Oh, and also Eisenhower gives you plus 10,000 science. Now here is Zhukov. Zhukov is I think Zhukov's one of the best people here for a hybrid general, all right? He has one of the best infantry perks. Infantry leader. You can use this at any time. Well, of course, when it triggers. But it doesn't matter what health you have. 3 movement, it's great. They all have 3 or more movement. So 3, great. You're not really going to be using him on Air Force, which kind of sucks. But same thing with Manstein. He's only 2-star Air Force. But what happens is over here. So he has decent movement. What's important is over here, his stars. He's great at all 3 of these. Tank not as much, but artillery and infantry he's great at. He has an infantry perk, deals a fatal blow to the enemy when commanding infantry units, 16% chance to trigger. And then here, artillery barrage for the artillery, and so damage 24 additional damage when the health of artillery is below 50%. So those 2 perks there are really good. If you're on artillery and you're in the thick of the action all the time and you lose a lot of health, you're going to be doing 24 additional damage. It's really good. And then his tank perk is Tide of Iron. And so it's just like the artillery barrage. And so it deals 18 additional damage to the enemy when health of armored units fall below 50%. So if you want a hybrid general, go for Zhukov. Zhukov's great. You can put him on anything you want. So if he's like the only general you're really getting, and you get him right at the beginning, let's say. He's one of the best guys because you can put him on anything you need him to be on. And then here, Ace Forces, the troops you command gain 80% additional experience. So this means they level up a lot faster, a lot, more common. But once you get to level 5, I think it is, where you have the star, you can't upgrade anymore. But I think you get more health, I think, when your unit levels up. So this is really useful. Depends on, what unit you're on. Once you upgrade your stats here a lot, and you upgrade, tank, or you upgrade the 3 of these, the level that they start at is going to improve. It's going to get better. And so I think level 3 is the max that your unit can start at. Well, if you have Zhukov, he's not going to be as good. He's going to have more experience. So as the levels go on and on, you'll be able to get there a lot faster. And so there's Zhukov there. He also has defense tactics, so reduces 80% damage from the enemy, 10% chance to trigger. And so he has a chance of not taking as much damage, which is great. 80%, if someone does like 100 damage to him, he's only going to take 20. It's great. 100's not really that often, so he's going to take like 10 damage instead of like someone's max ability, which is great. And so here, none of these two people are focused on one thing, right? Eisenhower's more of a city guy, all right? You put him on a city. Suka's more of, you put him on anything and you just get him out there. And now, for Manstein, the reason why I chose Manstein, here. Manstein is more focused, all right? 5-star movement, great. Panzer units are one of the fastest units in the game. And so he can just move around lickety-split. It's amazing. It's not decent, but, he has okay air coverage. He is, you could consider him a hybrid, but if you're going to consider him a hybrid, you may as well consider the same thing of Eisenhower. And so both Eisenhower and Manstein have 4-star infantry without an infantry perk. So just on their own, like, he can do decent amount of damage. One perk right here. Plane fighting deals 15 additional damage to the enemy in plane warfare. And so plane tiles are just the clear tiles, and they make up most of the map, like 80%, I think, more like 70%. But they make up a lot of the map. No, actually, ocean tiles might. Who knows? But plane tiles make up most of the land. And so you can put them on infantry, and it's just like having a 4-star infantry general plus 15 damage if he's fighting on a plane, and then all this movement. So he's gonna be better than Eisenhower, I'd say, on infantry. They have the same level of infantry, or same amount of stars. It's just Manstein has this one perk. And so for all the smaller missions, I could easily put him on, this, or artillery. But I don't have to worry about artillery because I have Badoglio, right? And so I don't have to worry about that. So Manstein is more focused. He also has defense tactic, which we saw in Zhukov, except that's level 3. And so it's 60% instead of 80%. But it's basically the same thing. Instead of taking 100 damage, he's gonna be taking 40, and so it still helps him a lot. And once again, like, no one does 100 damage. All right, 60, 80 is quite a lot. So yeah, sometimes even 50 can be considered a lot. And so 50 is literally half of 100. So it's just like taking only 20. Would it be? I'm not the best at math. So if it's 40, if it's 100, then it's going to be 20 if it's 50. And so only taking 20 damage instead of 50, that doesn't sound good. Okay, my math is probably wrong. Someone might want to check that out. This guy, just like Eisenhower, he has explosives, except one level higher. And it deals 32 additional damage to enemy fortress units. So this includes cities. This includes the bunkers. Anything that's really, a building. Is that really the only thing there? So the naval guns and everything. So you can easily roll him up there, and he could just one-shot these two. 32 additional damage, plus the 30 here. That's already 60 some damage if he's using plane fighting. So this is 62. If he's using plane fighting, that'll be 77. And then if he triggers this perk, it could be all the way up to 100. I've seen this guy, Manstein. I have him on my phone. I've seen this guy deal 120 damage. He just goes out there, defeats a whole bunch of units. So Manstein is really useful. He's going to be really useful for my conquests. I don't know if I'm going to be using him yet for my campaigns, but at least for conquests. And then his last brick here. Well, I should go through this brick. Panzer Leader deals a fatal blow. So it's just like Infantry Leader that's on Zhukov. It's literally the same brick except for tank. So this guy, as you can see, is way more focused. And then here, Blitzkrieg. Avoids retaliation when commanding armored units. So this means this guy can attack a unit and, it won't attack back. Artillery, field artillery, all artillery units naturally have this. Rocket artillery, they have 100% chance because they fight and they're not going to respond. But if you attack a rocket artillery, they will not attack you back. So rocket artillery is kind of crap, and also it can accidentally deal a lot more damage than what you intend because it does a lot of it hits like 3 or 4 spaces. And so Blitzkrieg, is for tank, and then you have Raider, which is for infantry. And so those are those 2 perks for that. And then the rest of our artillery units have a 70% chance, I think, to avoid retaliation. And so this year is a 24% chance to trigger. And so you might see this happen a lot. And so he could just attack a city and not take damage back, which is great. The main difference between Guderian and Rommel, they're both really good generals. But, I kind of like it how Rommel has an extra star or extra level in this. But the thing is, what Rommel's lacking. First off, 1 extra movement, as I'll show you later on. But this perk, it's a level 1 perk. And also this, when is he going to be in desert? I know it's historical, but yeah, still. But I kind of like these 2 perks. They go hand in hand. Ace fighting, also really good. But the thing is, Rommel's always going to get a retaliation. Unless if that other unit's out of their range. Or unless if he's out of that other unit's range. Whereas Guderian can easily avoid retaliation. And also he has level 4 plane fighting. And plus 1 more movement. So even though Rommel has more health, Guderian's just way better. And so that's really going to be all for this video. I'm just saying that I got Manstein. I don't know if I'm going to be using him for these things. I might. But I don't know yet. I'm sure most of you guys who are watching don't really care. I'm just going through these campaigns. And if you're struggling, you can comment on that video saying, I'm struggling with this and I can go through it again with limited generals. But that's really going to be all for today's video. I just want to get that out there, that I got Manstein. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm not going to get these 2 generals. No way in hell I'm getting Eisenhower. I've gotten him before on my phone. Not worth it. I mean, it's always nice to have a naval general, but just not worth it. And then Zhukov, he's pretty decent. Alright, he's great. So if you want to get 2 of these generals, get Zhukov and Manstein. Now, for my next general, while I'm at this topic, what do I want next? I think I can get rid of Manteuffel. You don't get as much back. I spent 570 on this guy and upgraded his health once, which costed like 200 medals. And so I lost, over 220 medals. But whatever. Okay, whatever. I think it was more like 150 that I lost. So I'm going to keep him as long as I can without really upgrading his health, because it's nice to have an extra general. But my next general will likely be, I don't know, infantry or air. If I want an air general, I kind of like Goering. Goering is one of the best air generals because he's just like Eisenhower, right? He has these perks, so he can just sit on a city, and he can easily stay alive. This perk is kind of out of the blue, but bayonet charge, whatever, 6 additional damage. But it's not about that. It's just the Air Force and being able to move around, and having the health. And he's pretty cheap as well, 2160. And so I think Goering, if I'm gonna get an air general, it's gonna be him. But he's super expensive. I know Dowding is like 2,000. Infantry general, I want to try to keep them cheap. I know Student is a decent infantry general, and Air Force, 24. I can use this guy as an infantry general and as an Air Force general. So Student is on my radar. Raider, he's on my radar. Because I'm not ready yet to go for these big blown out generals up here. I mean, I could save up 1 billion campaigns and get one of these guys, but then I had to do that all over again, but yet I have harder campaigns to get through. So I think Raider, for my naval general, for like these campaigns, at least. And then Student. Now, I don't know from there what I want to do, but Student, here's the radar perk. So I think that's my next target. Yeah. So thanks for watching.